morning to you. Let's go straight to our top story now. The Johannesburg Council will make a fresh attempt to elect a new mayor after political parties failed to agree on a suitable date or candidate. The ANC caucus divided over whether or not to elect someone from within its ranks or put someone from a minority party. At the same time, the Democratic Alliance, in talks with the Patriotic Alliance, which is demanding to have Ngcobo as mayor. Let's touch base once again with our colleague Ziyanda Ngcobo at the council. Ziyanda, good morning to you. I see the ANC's top ranking officials there. I suppose the quick question for you is, where the ANC has the majority, it has said in the recent past that it will take the lead. Is that position about to change?
Well, we're hoping to get those answers, Xoli, because we know that yesterday the leaders behind me, Panyaza Lesufi, the Gauteng ANC chair, TK Ngciza, the Gauteng secretary, as well as the regional secretary of Johannesburg, they were all in a meeting with the DSG, that's the first DSG, Nomvula Mokonyane, and the Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, yesterday, the meetings ending very late into the evening. Of course, you'll remember on Tuesday, the caucus here in Johannesburg defying Panyaza Lesufi, walking out of the chambers actually, because they didn't want to elect Kabelo Kwamanda from Al Jamaa. They were saying that according to the recent ANC NEC decision, the party that has the most votes should elect their own candidate. But you'll recall that agreement between the ANC and EFF that in Ekurhuleni and Johannesburg, neither the ANC or the EFF will field their own candidates because of that mess that was caused by Mzwandile Masina at the time. And interesting, it seems that the ANC has its act together, because on Tuesday they ran away from us, and today, let me step out of shot, they are presenting a united front. There's the chairperson, the secretary, and of course the regional secretary. And let's start with you, Secretary. What happened during that meeting with Luthuli House, and who are you putting forward as a mayoral candidate today?
No, firstly, good morning to yourselves and your viewers. This is the African National Congress. We have a chairperson of the ANC here, Comrade Panyaza Lesufi, and the Secretary of Johannesburg, Comrade Sasa Mangani. The African National Congress takes these coalitions very serious. For us, they are about our people, they are about servicing the people of Johannesburg. So it is important that at all times, because ANC is a very big organization, at all times we must take our structures through. Remember, as things stand, it can't be that we must allow Democratic Alliance and Action SA to continue to put our people in dire situations. So we could not take a risk if there was a particular dissatisfaction from our councillors, because they needed to be taken through some certain processes of the ANC. We do have a new policy of the ANC that speaks to coalition, but it might not as well be understood by everybody. People might choose a certain section because they don't understand it. So we had to make sure that we take our structures through. And I would want our chairperson to really take us through the incidences, what would have happened, how did we communicate with our structures up until we are where we are today. But we are confident because, you see, when it comes to coalitions, whether it's internal or external, there'll always be criticism, there'll always be people who have different views. But as Gauteng, we understand this is as a process that must solely be about making sure that our people get the service, because the ANC itself will not make any inroads or gain the lost ground if it doesn't make sure that it services our people.
Mr. Ngciza, let me just jump in there. Let's just be very direct. Is the mayoral candidate coming from the ranks of the ANC or one of the smaller parties?
Do you want to take them?
Thank you so much. You will recall that in our province we've established something that is called Government of Local Unity, where we are bringing all organizations that are agreeing to work together. This morning we had a scheduled session of Government of Local Unity coalition partners, and we unanimously endorsed and agreed that Kabelo Kwamanda will be nominated as a candidate representing the Government of Local Unity forces and we are quite excited that the relevant party, that is Al Jama, has accepted our recommendations. We concluded our internal consultation as the African National Congress and unanimously endorsed the name. And we are happy that this morning all political parties, including the Patriotic Alliance, endorsed the name. We also received a message from the Patriotic Alliance that they've been approached by other political parties to fill the candidate in the name of Kenny Kunene. And we all agreed as coalition partners that we are firm on the name of Kabelo Kwamanda, and therefore Mr. Kenny Kunene, even if they nominate him, he will decline the nomination. We want to move with speed out of this situation. Indeed, as you might have reported, but incorrectly so, we're not defied or chased away or expelled. We consulted the ANC caucus on the doorstep of a council meeting, so we didn't have sufficient time to take note of the issues that councillors were raising, which is a very important political issue on how to align our provincial narrative on coalition politics with the new framework that national government, national ANC has introduced. So we allowed the national leadership to come and explain the framework, and after the explanation of the framework, unanimously we agreed that at this present juncture where we are, the view and the support for minority parties to lead authorities in our province is still relevant, is still within the framework. And after that clarity was given, we agreed that we are going to field Kabelo Kwamanda as our candidate. And we remain hopeful. We've done our work in terms of numbers. We remain very solid. We can account for every councillor, we can account for every vote. And therefore, we are confident that at the end of the session of council, we'll have Kabelo Kwamanda as our candidate and as our executive mayor of this municipality.
Mr. Lesufi, how did you come to the conclusion? Because as far as we were concerned, there were two mayoral candidates presented, Colleen Makubele from Ngcobo and of course Mr. Kwamanda. What led to the final decision of taking Mr. Kwamanda from Al Jama, particularly because we know how the public reacted previously with Thapelo Ahmad's tenure as the mayor, characterizing it as very poor and not administering proper leadership?
It's a principal position. You know, if you are in a government of local unity or coalition, you need to maintain some level of principle. The councillor or the mayor that resigned came from Al Jama, so the replacement must come from Al Jama. We are just doing a replacement. We are not reconstituting a new government. We are not reconstituting. That is why you will see immediately after his election, he will announce his mayoral committee today, because it's just continuation. So it was a principal position that we presented to the steering committee of the government of local unity, and the steering committee accepted that position, and they went to all their parties. And this morning we met, and all parties without exception indicated their willingness to support Kabelo Kwamanda to be our candidate. And let's wish him well, that he will represent the coalition. We learned, obviously, from those mistakes that you are alluding to. We are going to strengthen his office with the capacity and the skills that are needed. We are also putting almost 3 advisors on literally everything that affects governance, finance, and most importantly, to manage the stakeholder relations so that we don't have challenges that will create problems for us. So this time already, we have learned from our limitations and our gaps, and we're excited that council can proceed, and council can proceed to elect the new executive mayor of Johannesburg.
All right, that's Panyaza Lesufi. He's the Gauteng ANC chair. He's, of course, flanked by the leaders of the province. That's the secretary, TK Ngciza, as well as Sasabone Manganye. He is the regional secretary of Johannesburg. So presenting a united front, I should say, Kabelo Kwamanda remaining then the mayoral candidate. You know, one wonders what caused that confusion, and seeing that the NCNEC has adopted a framework, at what stage then will the province adopt this national framework when it comes to coalitions? But we'll see then how this new arrangement will fare as time continues. Ngcobo,
thank you very much there.